Good evening. Welcome to the April 6th Village Board of Trustees meeting. This meeting is now called to order. We will begin with the pledge.
Trustee Bazemore?
Present.
Trustee Codman?
Present.
Trustee Cazada?
Present.
Trustee Levin?
Present.
And Mayor Garrity.
Present.
Do we have any mayors and trustees announcements?
You bet. Trustee Casada, yes, I'm going to speak to that if you have our little prop for this evening.
You gonna speak of it?
Do you mind? Yeah, if I just, or you want to be our Vanna White?
Okay.
Many residents this week may have received a piece of mail that looks like this from Sustainable Westchester. And it caught a lot of people by surprise and seemed a little suspicious. And so people had some questions about it. And I wanted to give some basic pieces of information and give you some suggestions on where you can get more information. You know, all of us sitting here up on the board have had many conversations with representatives from Sustainable Westchester. And so in our minds, well, we passed the enabling legislation for community choice aggregation back on July 1st. We started having meetings to learn about and understand this process my first year as a trustee in 2013. So to us, it feels like not at all a surprise that this finally happened, more like what took so long for us to get to this point. But I've been reminded today that not everyone watches our meetings regularly for some reason. So it really caught a lot of people off guard. And so I want to give some basic information about how, what this means and how our energy works. Con Edison it's a private company, but it provides a public utility. And they have an agreement with the state to be able to do that. And their primary role is to be the transmitter of energy and to maintain the energy grid for us in this area. They are not energy creators. They're not energy suppliers. They go to the energy market. You know, energy market is just like any other commodity, you know, the stock market or any other commodity. It's bought and sold. And they go to the market and they buy energy from whatever sources they deem to be the ones that they want to select. And their primary role for us is to make sure that our lines are still operating properly, and that's who we get our bill from. If you hadn't opened your mail this week and seen this piece of paper, you probably wouldn't notice a change in your Con Ed bill. It would, it's going to keep looking the same whether you do anything in response to this piece of mail or you do nothing in response to this piece of mail. What we participated in, along with, as a group of 20 municipalities across Westchester, is we decided, hey, we would like to go to the energy market and use the buying power of so many municipalities, our residents and small business owners, to be able to go to the energy market and see if we can get a better rate. And in this case, we got a better rate, and it's 100% renewable energy is the choice that we made here in the village and the town of Ossining. Both municipalities did. So what this allows you to do is to say, thanks but no thanks. You may have gone to the market as a group of municipalities and gotten a lower rate for 100% renewable energy, but I'd like to stick with Con Edison. Or I'd like to go with the lower rate of not 100% renewable energy, and those are your choices. And this is about giving people more choices, and what the change has been is to change the default of the source for your energy. Your bill will look the same. Con Ed will still be sending your bill. Con Ed is still doing the transmission and the maintenance of our lines. But we thought we might be able to go to the energy market and get a better rate for our community members. And we did. And if you're comfortable with sticking with that, then we're happy to have you as participants in the default energy source. And if you want to choose something else, that is entirely your choice, and you can switch in and out as you like. The only people who aren't participating in this automatically as the default are people who are already sourcing their energy from an ESCO, like Green Mountain Energy, for example, in which case you probably didn't get this letter in the mail. And if you want to participate in this program, then you would need to talk to the company that currently sources your energy and see what kind of contract you have with them that you might need to get out of. If you would like more information, the website is westchesterpower.com.org. And we are putting it up on our website, but you don't have to wait until we get on the village website. It's westchesterpower.org, and that is the group of municipalities that are participating in this energy sourcing opportunity. Does anybody else want to comment on that before I move on?
Just that, we're, just so I understand the letter, because I didn't get one, I already use an ESCO, but what is the choice that they have based on the letter? I guess I want to understand the scenario, because I had seen a post on Facebook indicating somebody felt like somebody was making a decision for them, and they felt as though something was being done without their either acknowledgement or permission, and I would just want to make sure
Yeah.
that's, you know, that's sorted out.
Yeah, I think people did feel a little taken aback, as if they were being forced into something. People probably were not aware of how their energy has been sourced up to this point. I doubt most people are contacting Con Edison and asking them about their decision-making and where they're sourcing their energy. And quite frankly, until I was involved in this, it never occurred to me that Con Edison wasn't producing the energy, that they were just going to the energy market and buying it. What this means is that the default for most people has been Con Ed will not only provide the transmission of energy, but will also be the entity that goes to the energy market and purchases the energy that will go through those transmission lines. The change that has been made is the default. If you do nothing, if you ignore this mail and you do nothing and you're currently a Con Ed customer, instead of Con Ed being the entity that goes to the energy market and purchases it, this group that's being organized for us on behalf of the participating municipalities is Sustainable Westchester. Now Westchester Power, that entity, they are the ones who are going to the market and talking to the energy providers and getting the best deal they can. And it's at this point, we're locked into a rate for the next 2 years, which is a lower rate than Con Ed's rate has been for the last year. Do you think that addresses the questions or concerns?
Yeah, it does. And sorry, I'll turn my microphone. But no, it does answer the question, and I think that it's very clear on the notification that the trailing price and the new option that you're getting is actually less money, so I'm hoping that we'll be able to get the word out, and if obviously you're listening or watching this, that if you have questions, please go to the website, or you can call the manager's office as well. We would be happy to point you in the right direction. 941-3550-914, and we'll point you in the right direction. This is a great program. We decided to, through the program we put together, we're purchasing all renewable energy sources. So I think that it makes a statement about our feelings about where our energy should come from, and about a general philosophy that we want to be respectful of the earth.
Not to get too much into the weeds, but your question prompts me to something that the manager and I were speaking about earlier today. It may be somewhat reassuring for people to know that while this is a pilot program in Westchester County, doing the community choice aggregation approach of municipalities going to the market, there are 6 other states that have done some version of this, Massachusetts, Illinois, California, I want to say Colorado. And we're learning from their experience and what has worked for them. And the reason we were able to get this lower rate is because we have the buying power of so many users, which is why it's the community opts in as a group, and then if you want to opt out as an individual, you can. Doing it the other way has meant that they've not had success, and they haven't been able to get better rates, and so it's failed, which is why it's been structured the way that it is in this case.
Right. In New Jersey, where it has been, where it was adopted as an opt-in program, it has not been successful. And they're looking into revamping it so that it is an opt-out
Okay.
option better than what they have right now.
Any other questions or comments about this? Yes.
Yeah, and this is just part of what we as a board have done. This is a conversation that happened about a year and a half, years ago. when we start looking into this. This is just a way for us to look at different options and how can we save money to our taxpayers. So it's very interesting that, and I believe I saw probably the similar posting that I was on Facebook, but, you do have the option to opt out. You do have, they actually send you something similar to this where you can just say, I don't want to be part of this, and that's okay too. Part of what was mentioned before, this is for the electrical portion of it. There's something that we are looking into the gas as well, that a couple more months, we're going to start getting some additional information to that. So that's going to be another window of opportunity that the village may be able to have to do that. And as a group with other municipalities, as it was mentioned, there's 20 of municipalities around Westchester that's doing this. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to look at how can we save money to our community. It's a great program.
Is anybody else? 11, Trustee Bazemore. Okay. All right, moving on to lighter topics. Everybody get out your calendars. We've got a lot of great things happening. I spent the early part of my day at the library with a bunch of community leaders talking about what's terrific about the library and how they can plan for the future. And they want to have they're holding a public meeting next Tuesday, April 12th at 7 p.m. in the Bedars Theater at the Ossining Public Library. It's a community meeting. The Ossining Library is looking to hear from you, the community members, the people who use the library. If you're not using the library, how come? They're looking for input to help them plan, understand your vision for the future of the library, and that may be able to influence some of their decision-making. It was a really nice conversation with a lot of really engaged people in the community, and I know that they're hoping to have a large participation from the public. And we'll be putting out an online and written survey to gather as much input as they can from people. They're making a big campaign of planning for the future. So I hope that you join them next Tuesday, April 12th at 7 p.m. in the library, unless you're attending the town board meeting, which is it plays at the same time. Okay. That week, next week, we have so many amazing things happening around water. And so if you haven't yet seen it in the press, I will give you the rundown as concisely as I can. Wednesday, starting at 6 o'clock, April 13th, join us for the Sing Sing Kill Greenway ribbon cutting. This has been a couple of years in the making. We'll be doing the ribbon cutting at the community center, which is the start of the pathway. It's ADA accessible, and you walk down what was originally started as a sanitary sewer project. There needed to be a walkway for maintenance workers, and the engineering department designing this realized that that walkway could be upgraded a little bit and could become a really amazing public amenity. I have taken the walk myself, and I am very excited to be able to share in that experience with our community at large. So I hope you'll join us next Wednesday, April 13th at the Greenway. We'll do the ribbon cutting. We'll briefly say a few words about how terrific it is, and then we'll hopefully all take a nice little walk down underneath our iconic double arch and walking on this path with the Sing Sing Kill flowing beneath you, and you're just in the middle of a gorge walking through the heart of downtown Ossining. It's a pretty amazing experience. I'm really excited to open that up to the public at 6 o'clock next Wednesday, April 13th. And then all of us in this room right now, for the most part, will be heading on over to Village Hall after that, when we will have our work session. And our work session will focus on water from another perspective. We will have Superintendent of Water Sewer Andrew Teese presenting to us about our comprehensive approach to potable water, to our drinking water system. And there's a lot of exciting efforts going on that front with conservation and leak detection and planning for generations to have safe drinking water for many, many years to come in the community. So please join us in person or on television for next week's work session. That's the 13th, and the meeting starts, as always, at 7:30 at Village Hall. The next night, the very next night, if you miss the meeting on Wednesday, you still get a chance to hear from Andrew Teese, our water superintendent, because the Green Ossining, who organizes our Earth Day Festival, has selected water as their theme. The festival is on Saturday, but gearing up for the festival, you can join the Ossining Documentary and Discussion Series. I don't have my flyer with me, but Go to oslingdocumentaries.org for more information. The name of this month's film is Flow, and it has to do with the commercialization of water and our drinking water systems. And we are very pleased. Andrew Teese is going to be one of the panelists in our discussion following the film. Every month we watch the film, we hear from panelists, and we have an engaging conversation with members from the public. It all starts at 6:30 in the evening, and it's free. It's at the Bedars Theater in the Austin Public Library. To wrap it up, Saturday, 11 a.m., join the community at the waterfront at Lewis Engle Park. Tell your friends from anywhere on the Hudson Line they can take the train. Just walk right down the ramp there, and they'll be at Lewis Engle Park. And it's a day filled with music on the stage, food, events. It's a beautiful venue. And that starts at 11. It goes till 4 in the afternoon. On your way out, head to the Sing Sing Kill Greenway. If you aren't joining us on Wednesday, or even if you are, there'll be some really special opportunities that Saturday from 2 o'clock until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. If you walk the Greenway, you will be able to learn about the history of it from Captain Scott Craven, who organized the program for us. You'll be able to learn about the kill from a perspective of history, environmentalism, from a geological perspective and from an engineering perspective, and our friends from the Friends of the Old Croton Aqueduct are opening up the Weir Chamber, which was an integral part of the aqueduct water system, and it's going to be a really terrific opportunity to get in there and learn about the Sing Sing Kill Greenway in its first week open to the public. So that is the 16th of April. The festival's at the waterfront from 11 to 4. The special opportunity to learn about the Greenway as you walk it is from 2 o'clock until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I thank all of the incredible volunteers who are making a success of that big day. The festival gets bigger every year. I expect 2,000 or 3,000 people to show up this year, and I know I'm going to be one of them. Okay, I've definitely made enough announcements. Does anybody else want to chime in here? What did I miss? Very good.
I'd like to announce an event that's happening before all the ones that the mayor just discussed. This Saturday at the Steamer Firehouse on Main Street, the Soul Project will be playing starting at 7:30. This is a band of local Ossining musicians. They played a couple of songs at the inauguration beginning of the year, and it should be a really great event. This is kind of put together by the Village Arts Committee. It's what we call an arts mixer. So we're certainly interested to have people not only come and enjoy Soul Project, but we can tell you more about what the Arts Committee is trying to do, the kinds of things that we want to see happen here in the village, not just with musical arts, performing arts, visual arts. It's something that we really want to raise up here in the village. We've got a lot of very talented artists. So Saturday, April 9th, 7:30, Steamer Firehouse on Main Street. Thanks.
Side of the table? Okay, our calendars are full. Manager Zambrano, or Madam Clerk.
We will move on to administrative reports, and we'll begin with Village Manager Abraham Zambrano.
Thank you. I just have a couple of announcements here. First, I would like to inform you that the Union Hotel Historical Marker, which is at the corner of South Highland Avenue and Church Street, has been refurbished and reinstalled back in its place. I would like to thank Glenn Songella, who did the work. Mr. Songella also refurbished the Sparta Cemetery marker in the town of Ossining. I would also like to thank Paul Faioli's team for reinstalling the marker back in its place. And I did circulate a picture to the board yesterday, so I think it looks very nice.
Right outside Lucy's Pizza.
Correct, yes. Also, I would like to let you know that along with representatives of Ginsburg Development, the village staff is working on the plans for the dedication of Henry Gordine Park sometime in May. So we'll give you more details as time nears. And the last thing I have tonight, I would like to let you know that over the last few weeks, since James Bowen notified me that he will be resigning for personal reasons after 22 years of service in the Zoning Board of Appeals, including having been served as chairs for many years before that, the village reached out to the community in an effort to get residents interested in serving on the ZBA. So I am pleased to announce that Susan Donnelly has agreed not only to sit on the Zoning Board of Appeals, but also be the chair as well. Ms. Donnelly brings the knowledge of a local code as well as her experience in local government, and she will be, I think, a complement to the rest of the zoning board members with her years of experience in government. So I want to welcome her to the ZBA, and I'm sure that the board is pleased, with that selection.
Yes, thank you very much for moving forward. That's an important position, and we're pleased to be able to fill Jim Bowman's shoes swiftly as we are, so that board can continue to function optimally. It's also a good opportunity to remind folks and let them know that there are opportunities to serve in most of our volunteer boards. A couple of them have been refilled. We've refilled positions on the Downtown Development Fund Council recently, and just prior to that, the Arts Council. But we are going to be pushing out a call for applicants for the vast majority of our boards, committees, and commissions, including the Zoning Board of Appeals, because we have a couple of other opportunities there. And Trustee Levin and I have spoken about that. Would you like to comment on this piece?
Oh, sorry about that. We wanted to communicate out more about all of the opportunities that people have, choices. Some people may want to sit on one, not on the other, no friends. We're really trying to open it to a wide scope of people, and are just looking for a lot of people that want to work on good, strong teams and dedicate their time. And we're going to try to also get the information out there more quickly and more evenly. So please be on the lookout.
Thank you. All right.
Corporation Counsel, Laura Lee Dixon.
Good evening. I did want to bring you and the public up to date on item F on your agenda this evening, which is the adoption of your text amendment. Introductory local law number 2 he had prepared the resolution for approval at your last legislative session. However, based upon some questions that the planning board had, I had asked if you could table it, and they have met. They met on the 29th of March, and they unanimously recommended its adoption. So you are prepared this evening. There are no impediments to moving forward on local law, introductory local law number 2 to be adopted as local law number 3. And just a reminder to the public, this is a clarification of definition to be sure that everyone is understanding that clubhouses and community centers involve the invited members of the public from the not-for-profits that run those clubhouses and community centers. This was in response to some activity down near the waterfront for a local theater company. And this clarifies that the intention of the definition was not to foreclose the opportunity to have invited the members of the not-for-profit to invite members of the public in for whatever the purpose of the organization is. So this was not a change. It simply was a tweak in the definition that already existed. So that's on for adoption tonight. You have your EAC recommending consistency with your LWRP, and now your planning board is formally approved, recommending positively. So you can proceed very quickly on that. The other item we put on this evening was the proposal by Edward Weinstein, who is a professional architect and planning firm. This was the design of the extension to the village's dock down on the waterfront as well. This was a discussion at the work session, and you are prepared this evening to accept that proposal, so the designs can return to you again at a public session for review. So we had added that as a late starter, and I apologize for the error in letting that one slip away, but it is ready to go at this point, and so we've put it on for this evening. And those are the 2 items I wanted to talk to you about. Thank you.
Thank you.
Police Chief Kevin Sylvester.
It's been a busy week for the police department. On Monday night, we had a call, spoke to a family where a young lady was approached by a gentleman operating a white van on Van Cortlandt Avenue while she walked home from school. it's reported that this gentleman tried to engage this girl and either offered her a ride or encouraged her to get in the car. We put this out on Facebook. We've been with some of the media outlets. It's gotten quite a bit of attention over the last couple of days. Right now, the one thing we want to share with the public and make sure everybody understands is that we've assigned extra patrols to all of the schools, some of them more visible than others. So we're covering all of the schools, both at drop-off time and at dismissal. Mostly what we want to share with everybody is that this is a great opportunity to have a conversation with your children, with young people in your family, in your neighborhood, about talking to strangers and about, dealing with situations like this. It appears to be an isolated thing, although we're getting various reports of white vans all over, so apologies to anybody who's not our person we're looking for, but white van is sort of a vague description. On a happier note, we are glad to announce our Civilian Police Academy will begin on May 5th. That's going to be headed by Sergeant Andrew Majorana. It's going to focus on all the various topics that you cover in a regular police academy, so we'll do use of force, traffic enforcement, community policing, DWI enforcement, and they'll get some exposure to firearm safety in all of our specialty units. So that's open to residents 16 years old and older. Last year when we held this, we had a great mix. We had some high school students from the forensics program. We had some parents in the class. It was a really a good diverse group of members of our community. So anybody interested, you can get more information. You can email Sergeant Majorana if you want to zoom in on that, because instead of making me spell that one out. You can shoot him an email and let him know if you're interested. We'll be taking enrollment over the next few weeks, and hopefully we get a good crowd for that one.
Chief, I know sometimes the people who participate in the Civilian Academy might be folks who are interested in considering applying for a position as a police officer. Do you know when the next test is being given for that?
We spoke about that at the county chiefs meeting today. It's going to be November of this year, but the state hasn't released the date of it yet. We expect to hear sometime around the first week of June when that announcement will be. You'll see me standing on a table and jumping up and down when that happens to make sure everybody hears it. We're really looking forward to that. This is a great program for people that want to get involved in law enforcement, for those that aren't sure if they want to be involved in law enforcement, for people that have no interest in law enforcement but are curious about what we do. This is really a great program for just about everybody, so we're encouraging everyone to sign up for this.
Thank you.
We'll move on to organizational announcements. Is there anyone here who has an announcement for an organization? Not seeing any. Move on to Village Board resolutions. Is there anyone who would like to address any of the resolutions on this evening's agenda? Well, we'll move on to adoption. Resolved that Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the minutes of the March 16th, 2016 regular meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
On the board. Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the minutes of the March 23rd, 2016 special meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board. Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report dated April 6, 2016, in the amount of $632,123.55. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board. Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby removes Irene Duranda from the active roles of the Ossining Fire Department, Senate Hook and Ladder Company Number 1. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Second?
On the board. Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm out of order there.
Resolved, the 2015 adopted budget for the general fund is modified as follows to allow for the appropriation of available sidewalk assessment revenues in the amount of $28,214.90 and excess court fines and forfeitures revenue in the amount of $17,000 $500 for sidewalk repair and improvement expenditures that do not qualify for CHIPS reimbursement in the capital fund as follows. Increase general fund appropriation accounts, account number 001-5410-0436, repair to sidewalks, $45,714.90. Total increase to general fund appropriation accounts, $45,714.90. Increase general fund estimated revenue accounts, account number 001-00001, 1100 sidewalk assessment, $28,214.90. 001-001-2610 court fines and forfeitures, $17,500, and a total increase to general fund estimated revenue account of $45,714.90. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining has been considering adoption of a proposed local law known as Introductory Local Law Number 2, 2016, entitled Zoning Text Amendment, which law would amend Chapter 270 of the Village Code of the Village of Ossining to clarify the definition of clubhouses and community centers found in the civic and institutional use group to reflect activity at such clubhouses and centers involving invited guests and members of the public. And whereas pursuant to the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act and corresponding regulations thereto, any amendment to Chapter 270 zoning is an unlisted action, and the Village Board, as lead agency, duly called for the preparation of a short environmental assessment form, including a coastal zone assessment form. And whereas in accordance with applicable provisions of the Village Code, the Village Board referred the matter to the Environmental Advisory Council for a recommendation as to the consistency of the law with the local waterfront revitalization program, and to the Ossining Planning Board for a recommendation as to adoption. And on March 1st, 2016, and March 29th, 2016, respectively, those entities provided positive recommendations. And whereas in accordance with general municipal law, the matter was referred to Westchester County for its review and comment, and thereafter a positive response was received. And whereas in accordance with New York State law, and after having provided all requisite notice thereunder, the Board of Trustees conducted a public hearing on Introductory Local Law Number 2, 2016, on March 2nd, 2016, at 7:30 p.m. at the Birdsall Fagan Police Court Facility, 8688 Spring Street, Ossining, New York, during which the public had the opportunity to be heard on such proposed local law. And whereas the matter was the topic of further discussion and deliberation at a public meeting on March 9th, 2016, following which the board determined there were no impediments to proceeding with adoption of the local law as drafted. Now therefore be it resolved that in accordance with SEQA, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining has reviewed the proposed action as that term is defined therein, and hereby issues a negative declaration. And be it further resolved that in light of the positive recommendation of the Environmental Advisory Council, the Board of Trustees hereby finds that the proposed law is consistent with the local waterfront revitalization program. And be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby adopts Introductory Local Law Number 2, 2016, as Local Law Number 3, 2016, which such adoption to take effect is set forth in said local law and as otherwise required by law. And be it further resolved that the Village Board directs said Local Law Number 3, 2016, to be filed and or distributed in accordance with applicable law. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
On the board, yeah, I'd like to comment on this, and Corporation Counsel made reference to this earlier when she introduced her comments for the evening, and this is a really good example of community organization coming to the village and saying, hey, we have a vision of what we think would be terrific for our community, to be able to have programming that will draw people to a local cultural institution. In this case, it is a local theater group, Westchester Collaborative Theater. But the way that the law currently exists didn't allow for them to function in this manner where they could invite the public to attend programs. And I thank you, Corporation Counsel, for finding a way to in a relatively expedient way to be able to amend the language in the text, and so that we could provide this option. And I know that the planning board was reassured when they learned that this is still a conditional use, so any organization that is looking for this, to be able to take advantage of this opportunity would still be reviewed by the planning board as a conditional use. But we're really pleased to be able to encourage an organization like this to have more creative outlets and opportunities for community members to attend programs. So it's a good way to promote the arts and to promote our local economy. So I thank you for moving this forward. I hope that this receives support from other members of the board in just a moment. Does anybody else want to comment? All right, Madam Clerk.
Roll call vote. Trustee Bazemore?
Yay.
Trustee Codman?
Aye.
Trustee Kazada?
Aye.
Trustee Levin?
Aye.
And Mayor Garrity.
Aye.
Thank you. Whereas on March 23rd, 2016, the village board conducted a public discussion concerning the pending sale of the property and improvements known as Snowden House Apartments, located at 35 Snowden Avenue, having the identification number of Section 89.15, Block 1, Lots 71 and 69. Excuse me. Which property is subject to that certain payment in lieu of tax agreement dated March 23rd, 2006, by and between the County of Westchester Industrial Development Agency and Snowden Houses Associates Limited Partnership. And whereas the Village of Ossining has been asked for its support during current proceedings before the County of Westchester Industrial Development Agency, specifically seeking an assignment of the pilot upon the sale of the property to Standard Snowden Ventures LP, the contract vendee, and during said public discussion, there was no objection voiced by any member of the board to the support of such assignment. Now therefore be it resolved that the village board hereby authorizes the mayor, the village manager, and/or the treasurer to execute any and all necessary agreements, forms, reports, and/or documents to reflect the support of the Village of Ossining to an assignment of the existing pilot to Standard Snowden Venture LP as assignee to become effective upon the transfer of the property at 35 Croton Avenue in the Village of Ossining, known as Snowden House Apartments, by Snowden House Associates Limited Partnership to Standard Snowden Venture LP. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I just have a question for Corporation Counsel. I guess I didn't read this carefully enough. I don't recall seeing before that we authorized the mayor, the village manager, and/or the treasurer to execute it. Is there a reason why that language is in this
Because
case?
there are many reports and documents that are necessary for an assignment. So the mayor would need to sign one part of it, and then
Okay.
there are forms for registering it, which could easily be assigned by the manager's office. And then there are financial records that would need to be. So we need to, even
Different
when-
parts from different
Yes.
people. Got it. Thank you.
Yes, and just to be clear, this is for the assignment from one entity to the next, and further negotiations are ongoing.
Right. I imagine people may want to comment on this. Go right ahead, please.
Yeah, I was going to say that this is an important event because it will, Snowden House is affordable housing, and the new owner and tenant of this building is going to continue to keep it affordable. And, given our recent work session regarding housing in the village, the good news is that this is going to be affordable housing for some time. In the context of the work session, we talked about extending it for an even longer period of time. And so I'm very pleased to vote in favor of this evening. We're very fortunate. Other affordable housing complexes have opted out. New managements come in and had the loss of housing. So I'm very pleased that we're able to maintain and continue this going forward.
Others like to comment on this?
I'll just say, as a community member who has sat on the other side for becoming a village trustee, that this was one of the projects that wasn't a great concern. I'm definitely glad to see that we have extended it, and hopefully in the future we will have another conversation about its continuing extension, that we could make sure that it's here. It's important. Provides housing for some of our most neediest members of our community.
I just want to comment that when we saw the presentation, I personally was thrilled to see a lot of the upgrades that are happening. So it's not just a continuation of units and numbers and a lot of stuff that we often talk about, but the quality that I think is going to happen, the quality of living there, and the upgrades that occur look really promising. And that's, to me, especially exciting.
Correct, and actually I was I saw his presentation. If you missed it, it's on our YouTube channel, like what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, it was the 23rd meeting, I think.
Yeah, 23rd.
And I saw the week before when I was presented to the town, and it was a different forum, and it was really interesting to see the type of quality of work of the workmanship that this particular developer has and has done in the past. So fully support this commitment from us to him, so he can continue seeking of the property itself and save the affordable housing units that we have in 123 units, I believe. So that is actually very beneficial to what we have.
And I'll just clarify for folks at home, my understanding, and I know Corporation Counsel will jump in if I'm not using the right terminology, but what we are doing right now is we're providing a letter in support of a reassignment of an existing pilot. We may have an opportunity to support the continued preservation for many years to come of this development as being preserved as affordable housing. What we're doing right now actually is because the Snowden House is being sold to a new owner, the documentation that with the county IDA needs to transfer to new ownership. So it's a reassignment of an existing pilot. I'm quite confident that it will have significant support from the board when we take a vote in a moment, because preserving our affordable housing in our community is certainly a priority for this board, and I'm pleased to be able to support this myself this evening. Madam Clerk.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved, the village manager of the Village of Ossining is hereby authorized to accept a proposal for professional services dated March 1st, 2016, from Edward M. Weinstein, Architecture and Planning, PC, 14 Spring Street, Hastings-on-Hudson, New York, for design and construction documents and preparation of permit applications and related materials for the proposed Village Dock Extension Project, and to execute any and all documents as may be necessary, including an agreement, upon review and approval by the Corporation Council, the total for which shall not exceed $46,500, with funding of $21,500 resulting from a certain New York State Department of State contract, and the remaining amount of $25,000 to be provided by Ginsberg Development Corporation. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
On the board, I think I just want to provide clarification that what we're doing tonight is a reflection of the fact that we had applied for a grant a while back, and at the time the expectation of the cost was a little bit lower, and it was going to be a 50-50 split with Ginsberg Development Corp. But because the price has gone a little higher in the meantime, we're maintaining the amount that we're contributing, the $21,500, and the GDC, Ginsberg Development Corp., has increased the balance that they are providing for the expense at this stage, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Whereas in March 2015, the Board of Trustees established a capital project to account for a public-private partnership grant estimated in the amount of $43,000 and administered by the New York State Department of State for engineering and design work for the proposed Village Dock extension. And whereas the proposal from Edward M. Weinstein, Architecture and Planning, PC, in the amount of $46,500 would require a capital project budget modification with additional project financing to be provided by Ginsberg Development Corp., LLC. Now therefore be resolved, the capital project for engineering and design work for the proposed Village Dock Extension capital project is modified as follows. Increase capital projects appropriation, account number 505-8020, 2159, Village Dock Extension, 2015, $3,500. Increased capital projects estimated revenues, account number 505-0505-2770-0159, miscellaneous Village Dock Extension, $3,500. Project number 2159, Village Dock Extension 2015. The original project budget was $43,000. Amended project budget is $46,500. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
On the board, Madam Clerk.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved that the village manager of the Village of Ossing is hereby authorized to execute an amendment to the 2014-2018 CSEA Collective Bargaining Agreement. Village of Ossing Unit 9163, Local 860, revising Article 4, Section 5, standby pay, in accordance with the mutual agreement of the parties. Such amendment, known as Amendment 2, shall become effective immediately. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
On the board, Madam Clerk.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Do we have any continuing business of the board?
We do. I just want to update folks. You may have noticed there's been some activity going on Main Street and the post office parking lot, and that's an example of the efforts by this board and this village administration to make the very best use of every square foot of asphalt that we have, particularly in our downtown when it comes to parking. With all of our attention in the Five Corners area recently, the observation was made that perhaps we no longer need to have the exit from the post office parking lot that goes onto Main Street, and if we have now closed that off, which is opening up the opportunity to have 3 additional metered spots on Main Street that are being created, and yes, and inside the parking lot, there's some work being done. You'll see there's been some movement of bushes and trees to so that area will become additional parking, and we'll see exactly how many spots we can fit inside there. But all told, it may be an increase of 9 or 10 spots right in the heart of our downtown. So we're very pleased to be able to increase the availability of both metered parking and tag parking, or it's not even tag parking, it's just 3-hour free parking for folks who are using the downtown businesses. So that's a nice way to increase the square footage of folks in downtown. It's part of an ongoing effort to figure out how to make the most of our parking, all of our parking, but particularly in this case, how to support our downtown economy with more parking. Does anybody else want to comment on this in particular? I know that the manager is also speaking to private entities to look at opportunities, if you want to just speak generally on that.
Sure,
so people
certainly,
understand
Mayor.
what that means.
Thank you. Actually, we have already started negotiations with a particular private property owner. I mean, once we have a little more information, we can bring that to the board for further discussion. But we are also in continuing conversations with another property owner in the downtown that could potentially generate quite a few more parking spaces public to use in the future. Again, some of these deals, take time to come to fruition. We are working to be able to increase parking stock in the downtown area.
Great, thank you. I look forward to seeing continued progress on this front. And we just wanted folks to know that's what's going on with the construction. There was some question on what in the world are people doing in our downtown. So it's all good things. Madam Clerk.
We'll move on to new business of the board. Discussion of cabaret license from Carmel Lounge.
All right. Manager
Sure,
Zambrano and
actually,
Chief Sylvester.
The owners and representative of Carmel Lounge had actually submitted a cabaret license, and actually, when it hit my office earlier this week, actually, last week rather, I thought it was appropriate for us to add it for the board to potentially discuss it. I had actually emailed to the board a copy of an email that Chief Sylvester sent in reference to that. So this is before the board for discussion. Actually, Mr. Rano Martinez, who's representing Carmel Lounge, is in the audience. And if you like, he can certainly, I'm sure he can come up and talk to the board about the application itself.
Well, perhaps, does anybody on the board who was here at the end of last year want to give a recap on, it's actually a new owner from the time that we last spoke about the potential. We granted a cabaret license through the end of last year.
Is it a new owner
I
or a
think-
new manager?
No, actually, Mr. Martinez has said to me that it's not a new owner, this is a new manager, but I'm not sure. Again,
Okay.
based on the application I have, it says that the owner is Salvador Figueroa, who lives in Norwalk, Connecticut. But, and then the application also has Gloria Villeda, who was here before the board back in December, as well as Ronaldo Martinez on the application. So I'm not sure, I'm not clear actually as to how the ownership has evolved, Mayor. Maybe we can ask Mr. Martinez to come up again.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Martinez. I don't know if you're planning to speak or not tonight, but thank you for joining us. Would you mind coming to the microphone so that the folks at home can hear you? Thank you. Yes, of course.
Sure.
And speak into the microphone, please.
No, you can speak if you
Either
want.
Whomever is, whoever,
One at a time.
What is the question?
we just wanted to clarify the ownership and the management because we had gotten to know Claudia, who had been the manager for a number of years, but I understand she was not the owner at the time of the last short-term cabaret permit that was through the end of last year, and now you're seeking to have it extended through this year or a new one for this year?
Yeah, like Claudia said the manager before. Now, I'm sorry, I have a little cold and my voice is a little crazy.
It's okay.
You know, I can barely understand. It's the same owner, Salvador Figueroa is the owner. Now we are the new managers. We started December 1st. So we're starting to work, you know, we want to work and really we need your help, guys, because we really need to continue to working. So I don't know what happens before. We're starting right now. So I hope so you guys help us because we're going to keep working, trying. The plan we have is different. I want to have the plan, you know, to get, yes, familiar in the afternoon and the night. So I don't want to have a little, like before. So I want to change a little by a little. So that's my plan.
The owner is the same.
Okay. And you are the, yes.
She's last.
And so you are the new managers?
Yes.
Together? Okay.
Yes, sir.
The owner sometimes doesn't show up because our family problem. His daughter died 2 years ago of cancer,
Yeah.
16 years old. And
He's a little upset about that.
better stay home with the family, not too happy. That's why I'm here.
It's perfectly appropriate to have you representing if you're the person who's typically there on any given day. So if you have questions about the way that it operates, I think that I'm comfortable with that. So then I guess, did you want to comment, Trustee Codman? I saw
Well,
you
I
leaning forward.
I'm trying to remember the date when Claudia came before us. I believe it was actually, was it actually in November or December, I believe? of what-
November before Thanksgiving.
Right, so Claudia had come to us saying that she was requesting to extend the hours of the cabaret license because she was saying that she was having to close early. By closing early, it kept her clientele
Yeah, that's how it works.
from staying. You know, that in other words, people would come late. You know, culturally, I think
Exactly.
things go later
Yeah.
into the early morning hours, and we felt that we wanted to give her that chance to do that.
Thank you.
I guess shortly thereafter, Claudia decided to move on to something else, and I take it you took over at the beginning of
Yes.
December. So, one of the reasons we wanted to do this is obviously we want to encourage the businesses in the downtown, and we want to, have Ossining a place where people would want to come and spend their money and everything else. The concerns I think that we have are were the same ones we had when we spoke to Claudia before, which is that unfortunately there are a minority of individuals that do not behave well, and regretfully we've had to call out Ossining's finest to handle certain situations, and we want to do the right thing here, but I think we have some concerns about the folks that come to your establishment, your patrons, as it were, and their behavior, either in the place itself or once they exit. So I don't know. Maybe the chief could provide some color on that. But those were the concerns that we had at the time when we had given the license before. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm sorry. Behavior for who?
Well, the behavior of patrons, people that have been at your establishment. Those were the concerns we had when we decided to give her the extension of the time. Now, I have no information as to what's happened since December 1st, and that we have the benefit of the police chief here to talk about it. So,
Right. So I would just say that the goal of being able to grant a cabaret license is we want businesses to be able to have a business plan that works and is going to be successful and brings people into your business and keeps our downtown vibrant and keeps people coming to Ossining. So we're happy to be able to encourage businesses with a cabaret license. The tricky part is cabaret licenses mean that the longer people are out enjoying themselves late at night tends to often coincide with more hours of drinking alcohol, which sometimes leads to bad behavior. And so that's when we ask our friends in blue here, what sort of calls you've seen, or have you seen an uptick or concerns related to, the cabaret license and folks staying out a little later at Karma Lounge in those last 6 weeks, I think, of 2015.
So when this application came before us, it was late November, and that was on the tail of a string of calls there, disturbances, fights, larcenies, just all kinds of things. These managers weren't in charge then. Since they've taken over, it's not been the same thing so far. It's only been a short period of time, but we haven't had calls there. So we don't have anything documented between when this application was submitted, our office recommended that the board not approve it. At that time, that was warranted. The new managers have got a pretty good track record so far, so they've given no reason for us to make a recommendation not to have it. Sort of our standing position on cabarets is that I don't know if they're looking for the late night one or the 1 a.m. The original application from the last manager was for 4 a.m. We've not had good success with cabarets until 4 a.m., but the 1 a.m. seemed reasonable on the last one, and we think that would be...
Is 1 a.m. the standard in cabaret license that we tend to grant in the village?
They really depend on the vendor and what they're asking for, but that's what the board's decision was on the last one.
We said
So-
1 a.m. the last time?
That's what the last one was, yes.
I thought we did?
Yeah. So we extended it.
I thought it was 2.
Extended to 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Excuse me, one question. Can you guys left about 3 o'clock? Yes, I want to say.
They asked, the original application, if I recall, it was 3 o'clock,
Right.
and then we debated it, and then we said 2 o'clock.
Right.
Because the police were saying, no, don't do it at all. So we said, how about
That
2
was-
a.m.?
That was part of, because of the holidays, we said, all right, we're gonna try.
Oh, because it was Christmas
Yeah,
coming
because it
up.
was Christmas
Right.
coming, we had Thanksgiving, I believe, it was part of that, so we said that was fine. I haven't been there in a while. My feeling is Karma Lounge has been there for a while, they always had a cabaret license. We'll do a 1 o'clock like we had before. How it goes with the new management. That's my recommendation.
What I do is we got more security. For Claudia, I know you only have Saturdays and 1 in the regular days. Actually, now I got 5 on Saturdays. Let the drunk people go inside, and I try no backpack. Some people try to come inside the backpack. I don't let them go in. No hats, Everybody has to show ID. That's my law. And
So
my place is safe. No fight, not even one
Yeah.
call. Not
You know,
even one call to.
It's 3 months.
It's difficult to say because what we're talking about is we've had a lack of calls there, but there also hasn't been a cabaret. So it's impossible to say that the last 3 months are indicative of a business that's going to be successful with a cabaret because it does change the way they're doing business. The cabaret ending at whatever hour doesn't prohibit them from still doing business and having their food and stuff. That really just addresses their ability to have live music. or whatever kind of performers they're having. When we've given cabarets, we've tend to seen problems. When businesses are open late at night and there's alcohol, especially in that area, most of our complaints that we're getting from Main Street deal with the messes that we're having outside. We just came from downtown development, and their biggest concern is that that specific area from 187 Main Street to Karma Lounge is littered with beer caps and cigarette butts and all kinds of trash in the morning. So, it's really at the board's prerogative. I can't say that up until now their track record is completely clear as to how they'll behave once the cabaret is in place. I do have some concern anytime a place needs 5 security guards in order to keep things in order. I mean, we're glad to see that they're taking responsibility for it, but it's concern to us. So we think 1 o'clock is a good recommendation. It's up to the board where you guys go from there and what you want to do.
Sorry. I was going to ask, how long is this for? Is this for a year? For
This is a year, yes, it's a year.
Although last time we did it, I thought on a 6-month.
We were doing a
Just a
trial
trial?
through the end of the year, but it does need to be renewed
For a year.
annually.
Okay.
Just so I understand, what are you asking for? What do you want?
The 2 o'clock would be fine for me, and I appreciate it, you guys, to give a permit, because some people give permits to 1 o'clock, but people do different. They stay open to 3 to 4, and doesn't do what the law say. But you give me to 2, I want to do it the way you say.
Excuse me. The thing is, some people finish work like 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. After that, when I go dance, when I do something. So if the people go over there 12 o'clock, 1 hour, doesn't work. The people says 1 hour over here, forget it. So like for alcohol, okay, we sell alcohol over there, but there's one more bar over there. So if I close over there, the people go in different place, drink alcohol. No matter what it is, the people find alcohol. If it's no Karma Lounge, different place find alcohol. It's more places over there in the Main Street. It's not only Karma Lounge. It's more. I don't even know because I live in Monkisco. I don't live over here, so I don't even know really over here. But I see places, a lot of places in the Main Street sell alcohol. If Karma Lounge doesn't sell alcohol, close the door, people go different places to drink alcohol.
I will say, we're not suggesting that you need to stop selling alcohol at
Yeah.
1 a.m. or whenever the cabaret license would go to, just that the music would stop at that hour, but people could continue to eat and drink and be merry. They just wouldn't be doing it with
Music.
with the music provided. Yes, sir?
The DJ you're talking about.
Yes, right.
So you're asking to go to 2 a.m. is what you're saying, for the music to go to 2.
We want to 3 a.m., but if it's difficult, at least 2 a.m., because 1 a.m. is a little tricky, it's a little, complicated. If we want to 3 o'clock in the morning, but we
Well,
appreciate it if you guys do
I mean,
that.
I'd like to give you guys a chance. I mean, I think that's the way I feel about it. I mean,
Thank you.
Obviously, you take the issue of security seriously. I also hear the chief's comment that it's too bad you need 5 people for security, but at the end of the day, it sounds like you want to run a tight ship. You don't
What
want
has
a lot
safe
of things
place.
going on. And I also understand that you can't be responsible for the consumption of alcohol in locations that aren't part of your business.
Exactly.
So, I'm predisposed to let them go till 2 and to see how it goes. And obviously, you need to work with Chief. And I mean, we're going to know when the calls are. That we're going to understand if there are issues with your patrons, and it would behoove you to let your patrons know that if they do behave badly, it's not going to reflect well on you, and we might push it back to 1 o'clock. And I personally want you to. I wish you could stay open till 3, but I think. No, I'm for people doing their business. I get that.
Thank you.
But I don't know how my colleagues feel, but
appreciate
I would be okay with 2 a.m. and I think we can try it. Let's see how it goes.
Okay.
And I mean, success would breed trust to us, to the board. So we feel good that things are going to be right. So
Trustee Bazemore, without making any suggestion of what you do with your time outside of this dais, you are the millennial on the board
Yes, I am.
who doesn't have a spouse and children dragging them at home
Very
late.
true.
So you tell me, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., what makes sense to you?
2 a.m. 2 a.m. definitely makes sense. From a millennial standpoint, one of the hardest things about being in Ossining is the lack of nightlife. So, I echo John's comments, and I understand the chief's concerns. I think, again, we have a year, and if there's no issues, no major issues, nothing outside the ordinary that would go along, the kind of activities that go along with any kind of bar, definitely granted 2 a.m. is, a suggestion. A little salsa night would be great while I'm up here, but yeah.
I don't think we can legislate that, or require that as part of the cabaret licensing agreement. Okay, so I got a sense of what's happening on this side of the table. Folks over here?
Well, I have to just echo what the chief said. He and I both just, and so did the village manager, from a meeting with people who run businesses and are your neighbors who have businesses right next to your place. And while you haven't been running it for a long time, the complaints about garbage and about what happens on those evenings, Friday nights and Saturday nights, has been a constant complaint of garbage, beer bottles, all near the trees, on the grass, men urinating outside. These people have to come in early on Saturday, open up businesses, and it's not enough time for the village to clean anything up. So people walk out of not just your establishment, in fairness to you, but many are, and you may not be liable to control everything outside your establishment, but they're coming from your establishment. And these people are trying to open hairstylists, family businesses, and it's really unmanageable and unfair to your neighbors who also have businesses. So I'm just really concerned. The challenge is whether it's 1 or 2 o'clock, which I don't actually have an answer, and we're giving something for a year. So, I'm a little bit still thinking, because I just came from another meeting with so many of people in business just like you, but in different businesses, and you can understand that as well. So I don't know right now, because it's been a problem.
If I may, actually, this is going to be only for the rest of 2016, so it's another 9 months.
Oh,
Yes, so
a little
it's
bit different.
your calendar
So they
year.
have to come back again, it's the end of a calendar year.
Correct. Yes.
Mr. Quesada? Anything more to add?
No, I think, we're not telling you, and I'm not sure if it wasn't clear what John was saying, that the establishment itself, as far as my recollection goes from when Claudia came in last year, was that as a Carmel Lounge, it closes at 4 a.m.
Oh, I don't know about Claudia.
So I understand that.
I
But
mean,
the
what time do
establishment-
they close? Is
What
that
time do you close?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay.
You have to clean
So
the place.
part of what happened last year was that she said at that time, and I can go back and I could be mistaken. But my recollection was that she said that she closes at 4 o'clock. She wanted the cabaret license up to 3 o'clock, and there was an hour lap, so everything get cleaned up and everything else. And we said no. We said 2 o'clock would try that. If you close at 3 a.m., giving you a license, giving you the cabaret license until 2 a.m. gives you the same hour. To me, for news management, you to understand what we're going for, gives you a time for the 9 months remaining of the calendar year. To me, my recommendation is still 1 o'clock. Within a year, within the next 9 months, we can review this process. We have the opportunity to go back to the police department and see if anything has changed. There's no record, no calls. Even if there are calls, if they're minimum, to me, next year, when you come back, you say you want 2 o'clock, I'll be in favor of give it to 2 o'clock if there's nothing major that has happened within the next 9 months. My
question.
recommendation is to 1 o'clock.
Like I said, I can call the police if it's any problem, because I have to call the police if some problem.
Yes,
I
but-
can't scare to say, no, I don't want to call the
Please,
police.
yes,
because,
I want you to. We want you to.
I can say, no, I don't call the police because I have problem next year. If I have problem, I take the phone and I call the police because I had to do that. no matter what, if it's my problem or his problem, come for different places. Because sometimes over there, some people drunk, go over there, like even walk, go, try to go Karma Lounge. Curious to hello. They go inside, coming for different places, not even can see.
Yes.
How he can let the people go inside like that? No, right?
Right, and I
So-
think the police department can discern when you are being helpful to
Right.
keeping the peace and making responsible calls to the police versus, encouraging behavior that can become a problem for the community at large. Do you want to comment on that, Jim?
Yeah, we had an opportunity to speak a couple days ago, and one of the things we talked about was developing a relationship. And, I think that's a good step in the right direction for them. For whatever decision you make on a cabaret license, their business will remain open anyway. So I've encouraged them to reach out to the police officers that are on patrol, that are stopping by. We'll encourage the cops to stop in and speak to them. And, hopefully by developing a relationship that can help to build a successful business, because that's our ultimate goal.
I just
Yeah,
have one
please.
more question. Do you run another business?
No.
Is this the first time you're managing a business like this?
Yes.
We used to be a manager in Kisco Diner, cooking and a manager for 16 years.
And the diner Mount Kisco?
I'm working for Frank Georgia.
Okay.
Actually, I work for Harry Egmont.
Oh, sitting
Okay.
diner.
So neither of you have managed like a cabaret and all. This is your first try at that?
You want to do good,
No, I can see that.
Try to
wanna-
bring good
yeah.
people
Yeah.
to us and, I
Give
know
me
a lot
a
of people around and I know,
Okay.
good people, bad people,
Yeah.
bad people. Like happened last week, two guys came and said, I want to go inside. Drunk, got two guys in the. I
Yeah,
called the
yes.
police, let me go inside.
He called me.
Call the police, two guys go. They happened. Guy not let me go inside. Police guy said to me, thank you, you do your right job. Hey, guy like this. Bye-bye.
Okay,
So-
yes.
I actually do have a question because Trustee Levin raised an important point about trash being on Main Street. So my question to you is, I know you have that outside patio, but do you make sure that your patrons are not actually leaving the restaurant with beer bottles and?
You check.
I don't let the people go outside with the bars.
Okay,
People want to go smoke,
okay.
everybody got. Let the body, people go inside, outside with the bottles.
Okay,
People try to hide a bottle in the morning. Jacket on the pants, and I say,
Tough business.
Oh.
Okay.
my problem.
Thank you. I think we've all learned quite a bit about the challenges of
I try to do my
maintain-
best I can,
Well,
Okay.
If you're nothing, you're certainly vigilant in observing the many ways.
Okay.
So I don't know that this is just a discussion, but from here,
Are we supposed to be
will there
voting
be,
right now?
we'll be drawing up the contract based on what's decided tonight, am I correct?
Yes.
So I need to understand from the board, I think I heard 2 a.m., 1 a.m.,
I have no
Think
idea,
11?
right?
Oh,
I'm a little torn, so I'm really hoping that you make it easy for me. Go ahead.
Actually, I really think 1 a.m. based on the chief, but I have to be honest that I feel you're going to try to make an effort here. It's a 9-month gig. We're trying to get people to come in and run businesses. I'm actually going to have to go with the 2 a.m. because I want to give them a shot, so.
Okay, so my vote is irrelevant. It'll be 2 a.m.
thank you.
I could have gone either way. If you had said 1, I probably would have supported the chief.
I
But since
understand.
we've got 3 for 2
If I'm a
a.m., then I'm not
supporter or
going to fight it.
support of the chief, I just,
Yeah.
I'm going with my gut, and I hope that when you're back in a few months, that be a very pleasant conversation.
Make us proud.
Thank you for giving me a choice.
Yeah.
And oh, I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
No, thank you for giving me a choice. We just started, we want to work. We want to go. I'm sorry, give me some water. And we want to do some right things, you know, so that we have in the book, do good things in that place, no bad things. That's the thing I had in my mind. Just the right things, whatever we want to do, the right things, no bad things. And I appreciate you guys give that choice, so I really appreciate it.
And we wish you the very best of luck. We wish you the very best of luck, continued with your proactive approach to making sure that you are maintaining a safe environment, and we know that you will continue to work with the police department to help ensure that everything runs smoothly, and we look forward to seeing you later on in the year and reflecting on how 2016 has gone.
Oh, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
And if I may,
Please.
Mayor, I mean, the one thing that I would recommend, I mean, help us keep that area clean. So this way, you know, the businesses in the area, you know, don't think that, you know, it is your clientele that's actually making a mess of that. So if you can help us, you know, keep the area clean, I think that will be also, that will go a long way as well.
Yeah, if you send somebody out to kind of police the area, maybe late at night, you know, just to come outside and see what's going on, I mean, I think that would there's a lot of goodwill there for you. I realize it's taking a person out of your operation to that, but that'll be really goodwill with the rest of the store owners, and it'll make the downtown look nice, and obviously we all want that. So.
Yeah, your entryway is in kind of an unusual position, but actually the outside area up to the curb is the responsibility of the property owner. So it's going out and sweeping up cigarette butts, and if you notice any glasses or caps that are around, then you really set a good example for the other businesses and really help contribute to you know, moving in a positive direction for our downtown. So we wish you the best of luck, and we look forward to your great success.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just may say,
Sir, certainly.
if-
One more
just,
thing to say. I like to help. Sometimes maybe you like something for me. Parmalands, donate food for the people doesn't have food or
food for
something.
each,
I
yeah.
can give it
Okay.
money or whatever. I like to help.
I'm glad you're a willing partner in the
I like
community.
to help people.
one of the things, you know, again, this is a board that decided to give it to 2 a.m. But not just do the cleanup of the streets, try to maintain the peace in your establishment, but actually try to get engaged with all the community, all the members of the different businesses that are there, you know, so you can engage and have a relationship with actually what's going on in there. But get to know your neighbors pretty much. See how can you guys work together. So that's probably one of the key elements to have a successful business, especially the location where you are now.
Yeah.
So just like it was mentioned early today, it was a meeting. There's a different committee, but get to know the neighbors that you have. I think that relationship will bloom and create other opportunities for your business as well. So
I'm going to end this conversation. I think we have really investigated this very thoroughly, and everyone's had a chance to comment, and we wish you the very best of luck. I know Corporation Counsel and Village Management's office will get the documentation necessary for the cabaret license to move forward until 2 a.m. through the end. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for everything. Nice
Have a
talking
good
to you.
night.
Nice to meet you, everybody.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry,
I'm sorry, Corporation Counsel, I did not give you an opportunity to comment. Was there anything that you
No,
needed to say
not at
about
all.
this
I just
process?
have one last item on
Oh, yes.
the new business.
Thank you.
I've been working with Lieutenant Montague for many, many months, and I thought we would benefit from having a firm conversation this evening about a proposed IMA with the Village of Briarcliff Manor. This is concerning emergency service equipment to benefit the Ossining Police Department. We would like to install it and have arranged for an agreement to install it at the existing water tower at the old King's College property. We're at the point where the agreement is pretty close after many months of circulating it. It's pretty close to getting ready for signature. So I had asked to add this evening to have a brief conversation. Certainly, Chief Sylvester can explain a little bit better. It's a repeater, as I understand it, on the tower, and it will certainly increase and boost the signal in areas. So you want to give them sort of an overview of the equipment itself.
Yeah, sure. It's a relatively small piece of equipment. It's been described to me as using about as much electricity as an ordinary light bulb. When our radio system was originally designed, it wasn't designed with the town and Briarcliff in mind, because that wasn't our jurisdiction. When the town shifted police departments. They didn't keep all of the radio equipment mounted on that building when the building was sold. So we have a whole lot of dead spots on North State Road and out that way, and it makes for a serious safety concern for us. This antenna would fix all those problems at a near no cost to us. So for us, it's really important.
There's an exchange of, that it isn't a consideration per se, but it's an exchange of some cooperation of services, and also we have a piece of surplus equipment that Briarcliff themselves are interested in obtaining from us, so it would all be in the agreement and spelled out quite clearly, and we're hoping tonight to proceed to a resolution to authorize signature on an IMA of this nature. I have a resolution if you're interested.
Questions? Yes? Comments?
Well, I in an email exchange, I had requested for history, and the chief has pretty much repeated that information. So I'm in favor of this, and I see no reason why we should delay. I think we should take a look at the item and pass it this evening.
Would you like to call for?
Others with questions? Yes,
No,
trustee
no
Mason?
questions. I concur.
No questions on my
Yeah.
part.
Okay, I would just also like to comment that it's really nice to see us partnering with our neighboring village. We do not have as robust a history of municipal agreements with Briarcliff as we might, and so it's nice to see that this took a little while to get all the information exchanged, but I'm really pleased that it's happening on two fronts, not least of which is for the safety of our officers to be able to communicate wherever they are in their travels throughout the village and the town of Ossining, but also because it's a really nice direction for us to be moving in, to be collaborating more with our neighbors and sharing services wherever there's an opportunity to better serve our community. So, Madam Clerk, you have something to read to us?
Resolved that the village manager of the Village of Ossining is hereby authorized to execute an intermunicipal agreement with the Village of Briarcliff Manor to accommodate the installation of certain emergency services equipment belonging to the Ossining Police Department on an existing water storage tank owned and located within the Village of Briarcliff Manor, which agreement is subject to the review and approval by Corporation Council. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
On the board. Madam Clerk.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That, I believe, completes your new business of the board, unless there's,
I think we're good.
okay. We will now move on to visitor recognition. Is there anyone here that's come to address the board?
This is an opportunity for visitors to speak for up to 3 minutes about any item that is of general interest to the community, whether or not it was on the agenda.
Not
Okay.
s- Not
Seeing
seeing
anyone?
anyone, may I have an adjournment to executive session for advice of counsel?
So move.
Second.
On the board. All right, well, with that, I would say thank you very much for joining us for this public legislative session of the Village Board of Trustees. I hope you will join us next Wednesday, starting at 6 o'clock at the Community Center at the Joseph J. Caputo Community Center for the ribbon cutting of the Sing Sing Kill Greenway, and then walk on up to the hill to Village Hall, where we will be having our Village Board work session to discuss our comprehensive approach to water, to our potable water system. And if you are, as we said, if you're interested in learning more about the community choice aggregation, which is the where we are now sourcing our energy from, at least as our default, please check out westchesterpower.org for that. And with that, this meeting is adjourned to for advice of counsel.